looking for any kind of start right now as they lost the opener last week, but they looked better in the second half, and he's hoping that they can get out of the blocks a little better. We're set to get out of the blocks. Jeff Wilkins will kick this one deep to Mo Williams and David Palmer, and they're off. This will be Palmer at the goal line. He's got a seam, breaks it outside up to the 28-yard line, a 28-yard return for Palmer. You're looking at Brad Johnson, the quarterback of this Minnesota Viking offense. Johnson, he just did it all last week, 14-8 as a starter in the NFL. The man up front, Todd Stussy, Randall McDaniel, a 9-time All-Pro, Jeff Christie, David Dixon, and Corey Stringer. Robert Smith and Charles Evans in the backfield. Jake Reed, Chris Carter, and Andrew Glover, the receiving corps, and also number 84, Randy Moss, will check in. They play about 50% in that three-wide package. Johnson to throw on first down. He's got Carter on the outside. Todd Light with the tackle. Let's take a look at this Ram defense. Led up front by Kevin Carter. Looking to make the Pro Bowl. Mike D. Jones at one end, Kevin Carter at the other. DeMarco Farr and Joe Phillips are the men in the middle. The linebackers, Lorenzo Styles filling in for an injured Roman Pfeiffer, Eric Hill, and Mike A. Jones. Defensive backs, McLeon, Lyle Wright, and Todd Light. We have those three wide receivers in the game. Randy Moss down at the bottom. Carter and Reed up top, and they'll run the ball to Smith. Smith is hit immediately by Kevin Carter. He'll pick up 2. It'll be third down and 4. Ryan McNeil checks in. He'll line up outside on Randy Moss. Carter in the slot. And it'll be Jake Reed down below. And the Rams are bringing pressure. Johnson with time. Throws it outside. He's got Randy Moss, and that's a completion brought down by Ryan McNeil, but it's a first down. Moss checks out. Andrew Glover, the tight end, back in. 2 men in the backfield. This will be Smith to the left side. He is brought down immediately by the big linebacker, Eric Hill. The Vikings in their three-wide package again. Moss and Carter at the bottom. Reed at the top. Play action. The heat is on, and this is the tight end, Andrew Glover, across midfield down to the 46-yard line. A little play action from the Vikings. First and 10 from the Rams, 46. Pitchback. Johnson's looking for a receiver. He'll throw it outside. This is going to be almost picked off, and then it's caught by Carter.
He can still roll.
I thought Todd Light had it for a second, and it ends up in Carter's hands. Pick up of 21 yards on the play. Razzle-dazzle early.
We talk about the personnel changes. They went to 2 tight ends. And the ball's going to be handed off to Robert Smith. Then he's going to throw it back. And he really didn't have any place to go. Good coverage down the field by the Rams secondary. And we talked about Chris Carter being a smart veteran. Look at that catch. He knows to break it off because the quarterback doesn't have any place to go and makes a play.
The Rams were a victim of a halfback pass last week. Yeah, they tried to get him early, but Mike A. Jones stops Smith after a pickup of 2. Brad Johnson starts out hot, 4 for 4. It'll be second down and 9. The crowd gets into it. And they'll run it to Smith on the right side. He's got room outside. Great block by Moss. It'll spring the touchdown. Touchdown, Robert Smith. 24 yards.
See, we talked about the firepower outside throwing, but you still have the run problem. And this one's coming right at you. The Rams get caught with only 6 people inside the tackle box. It's hard to stop the run that way, and a great block down the field. Looked like Carter on the outside.
It was Randy Moss who put Dexter McLeon on his backside.
And that's one of the things that we talked about. This guy, not only can he catch the ball, he can also block.
Gary Anderson nails the extra point. 8 plays, 72 yards, ate up 4 minutes and 50 seconds off of the clock. The Vikings have continued the quick start trend that they've had throughout the preseason.
Yeah, and that's bad for the Rams because the Rams are not a quick start team. They have scored the least amount of points in the last couple years in the first quarter than anyone in the league has.
Mitch Berger set to tee it off. Tony Horn and J.T. Thomas deep to receive for St. Louis. This is J.T. Thomas 5 yards deep in his end zone, and he'll just kneel it down. First down and 10 from the 20-yard line. The Rams get their first shot. to Greg Hill. A little cutback room.
Wow, it looked like a face mask there.
And the flag is down. Personal foul.
Personal foul. 15-yard face mask. 93. Enforcing the end of the play. First down.
Here's a look at the face mask. John Randle kind of overshoots the play, and what does he do? He grabs anything he can.
That's right.
Unfortunately for him, it was face mask, but and that's a guy who's a key for the Rams to find out where he is. He'll line up all over the field. He'll line up inside, he'll line up outside, and they got to know where he's at so they can double team him. Right now, he's inside.
Hill alone back in the backfield on first down and 10. Oh no, here comes Derek Alexander, and he sacks Tony Banks for a quick loss. Let's take a look at this Ram offense. The quarterback just got sacked for a 10-yard loss is Tony Banks. Banks had 29 completions last week. That was a career high against the Saints. Looked real good in the 2-minute drill. Up in front of him, Orlando Pace, the #1 pick last year. Fred Miller, John Flannery, Zach Wiegert, and Wayne Gandy. Receiving core, Ernie Conwell, the tight end, Bruce and Kennison, the receivers, Derek Harris, and then Greg Hill in the backfield. 2nd and 20. Banks from the shotgun. Looks for Kennison. This will be batted away. It looked like Jimmy Hitchcock got a hand on it. Let's take a peek at the Viking defense, who need to improve their play this year if they're going to get to the Super Bowl like they've been talking. Up front, Dwayne Clemens, Jerry Ball, John Randall, and Derek Alexander. That's a good group. At the linebacking spots, Dwayne Rudd, the 2nd-year man out of Bama, Ed McDaniel, and Dixon Edwards. In the backfield, Jimmy Hitchcock picked up from New England. Corey Fuller, the other corner. The safeties, Thomas and Griffith. 3rd down and 10. Banks will go from the shotgun again. Excuse me, 3rd and 18. And he'll hit Kennison. No, that's Bruce. Isaac Bruce on the slant pattern over the middle. It'll be short of a first down. Robert Griffith on the stop. It is David Palmer deep to receive the Rick Tootin punt. And there is a flag on the field. And the punt is a bad one. Goes out of bounds.
They're going to get a hold on that punt protection. Dwayne Rudd came in awful quick, almost made the play, the block, but they grabbed him.
Dwayne Rudd is an outstanding football player. We enjoyed talking to him yesterday and then watching. He is so quick.
Number 22 on the kicking team. Penalty is declined. First down. Timeout.
So the Vikings will get another shot with it. They lead 7-0. Brad Johnson started out the first drive 4 for 4 as the Vikings marched crisply down the field. They'll take possession at their 29-yard line. And they've got the 3 wide receivers in, and they'll run it up the middle with Smith. Joe Phillips blocks up that middle. A short pickup, 2 yards on the game.
And I see they're going to have trouble running in that situation only because the Rams were able to move a safety up at the last minute. And they made that a 7-man front. And the rule of thumb basically is that if you can have 7 in the box versus a 3 wide out team, you got a chance to stop the run. 8 is great. But when you're 6 or less, now you got problems. And on the touchdown that Robert Smith just scored, the Rams had 6. They tried to bring down the safety late.
6 or less, you've got stress. On the play action on 2nd and 7, he is hit by Carl.
Boy.
3rd down and 7, 3rd and 8, let's call it, for the Minnesota Vikings. And Johnson will work from the shotgun. And he's going to have to take a timeout. He doesn't have enough men on the field.
Smart move by Brad Johnson calling that timeout. Why? They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 men on the field. That's not how he wants to run his offense.
He's got 11 now. It's 3rd down and 7 for the Minnesota Vikings. 3 wide receivers in the game. Nickel defense for the Rams. And Johnson goes to Moss. Moss has this one. And he breaks the tackle, shakes it all the way down to the 41-yard line. Randy Moss picks up 27 on a 3rd and 7. So the Vikings convert on 3rd. 1st and 10 from the Rams 41. Johnson will throw again. Pressure's on from Carter. He'll have to throw it away. He was looking for Jake Reed. Dexter McCleon with the coverage.
And the unusual thing about a guy like Randy Moss is that you don't find that combination. We see tall guys, and we see strong guys, and we see fast guys, but how many times have we seen tall, strong, fast guys that can jump like that?
And that's the thing. He has all the and we tried to think of who a receiver is that is like that. We can't think of anybody.
Couldn't think of anybody.
Randy Moss.
Brian Billick, the offensive coordinator, said, think of one guy like that that's got all that.
We were scratching our heads as that's what the Rams defense is doing now. 2nd down and 10. Smith on the draw, hit by Carter, and then brought down by Charlie Clemens, shooting in from the linebacker spot. 3rd down, 12 to go for the Vikings. 3 wide receiver package in again, and the Rams fake the blitz. Drop into the zone, and this is intended for Carter. Good coverage from Todd Light in the slot.
Excellent coverage by Todd Light.
Mitch Berger will boot it away to Eddie Kennison. Averaged 13.4 yards per return last week. He'll go for the fair catch at the 11-yard line. St. Louis Rams start backed up again. This was what they had last week in their loss to the Saints. They started backed up inside their own 20 on several occasions. They'll start from the 11, 1st and 10. Banks will give it to Hill. Hill's got room outside. He's got a block. He's got a lot of green in front of him.
Oh, he went out of bounds.
And they'll call him out of bounds at the 30-yard line. That's what the Rams need to do to get into this ball game.
Yeah, and that's why Greg Hill is on the field. They need somebody to make some plays, to get some positive yards and not put the ball on the ground.
A 19-yard.
Talked about, first of all, knowing where Randall is. He's inside, so the Rams crash down the whole right side of the line, and a good block out here. He's able to outrun McDaniel. Nice block on the outside. Isaac Bruce working on Griffin. And he's going to step just right there. Yeah, he's fully out. But the key thing is the Rams get out of that hole.
They'll go 1st and 10 from their 30. Play action. They're looking for it all. Bruce is open down the middle. He catches it at the 30. Huge play for the Rams down to the 22-yard line, but there is a flag, and it will be holding against St. Louis.
Penalty flag down.
What did Tony Banks tell us? He said the Vikings corners really aren't that good, and we think we can go after them and make some plays.
Holding number 70, offense, 10 yards, 1st down.
The holding will make it 1st down and 20 from the 20. They'll run it again. Hill looking for room outside. He can't get there. Dwayne Rudd, the linebacker, tackles him for a yard loss. Rudd put a move on Orlando Pace in space. Banks on 2nd down. He's picked off. Torian Gray steals this one away. Flag flies on looks like a face mask, but the Vikings should retain possession. Torian Gray, a 2nd-year man with a huge play.
Personal foul, 15-yard face mask foul, number 88 defense. That'll be half the distance to the goal line. 1st down.
Bob McElwee giving insult to injury.
Watch the pressure up front. Randall's inside working up the field, but it's the 2 outside ends that get a decent amount, but not a whole lot, Ray. There's no reason for him to make this play. I mean, he just doesn't look before he tries across the street, as they say, and lets that ball fly. Good anticipation by Gray, and there's a foul right there. You don't have to grab the face mask. Any part of the helmet, they will call a face mask penalty.
1st and goal from the 8-yard line for the Vikings after the turnover. 2 tight ends in the ball game. Robert Smith in the backfield, Carter in motion. And there is movement, and there are flags.
Neutral zone infraction, number 90 defense. Half the distance, 1st down.
Half the distance to the goal line. 1st and goal from the 4 for the Vikings. Smith motions to the right. They'll give it to Charles Evans. He barrels into the middle. Not much room. He'll pick up maybe 1.
When you talk about the weapons outside and the ability to run the ball, well, the Minnesota Vikings may have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. And you just look at what they have, not only from a talent standpoint, you got guys like Randall McDaniel, 9-year Pro Bowler, and Todd Stussy next to him, and the big guys on the other side, Dixon and Stringer. They just have size across the board. They're pushing on a smaller defensive line of the St. Louis Rams.
Big guys is right. 259 for Dixon, and Stringer is the body weight. Touchdown. This is Andrew Glover. He is in the end zone. Got the feet down. The Vikings go out 13-0.
Great catch by Glover. Good job on the ad-lib by Brad Johnson.
Glover didn't catch a ball last week. That's his second today. That one for a touchdown, a 4-yarder.
And Glover is a guy who they say, you know, we almost forget about him sometimes. I mean, with all the other receivers we have and the ability to run the football, we almost forget to throw the tight end.
They forgot to cover, and Gary Anderson converts the extra point. Minnesota over the Rams, 14-0. It'll be Mitch Berger kicking deep to Thomas and Horn. And this will be Tony Horn taking it up the middle on the return. Finds room out to the 25-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Rams from their 26. They'll run Hill. He works out to the left side. Brought down by Hitchcock. The problems continue for St. Louis in the first quarter. 28-0 outscored so far this year. It's not looking good for him as Greg Hill is brought down after a pickup of 2 yards. 3rd down and 5. 3 wide receivers in for St. Louis. Banks throws it outside. Isaac Bruce shows you some moves. Hitchcock brings him down, but not till he gets to the 49-yard line.
You know, they talk about YAC, meaning yards after the catch. And the guy they equate for that a lot of times is Jerry Rice. But Isaac Bruce is probably the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL. And like we said, they thought they could pick on Hitchcock. And it's what he can do after the catch, that kind of stuff, that sets him apart.
They'll mark it at the 48, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Rams.
They're going to try to get him the ball 10 times a day.
They said Dick Vermeil said he'd throw it to him 12, 13 times every week. And they expect Ike to catch about 10 of them. He did last week. Look out, Banks with pressure. But he's got a man open, and this is his receiver, J.T. Thomas, all the way down to the 34-yard line. But Banks is down after the play. And the Rams will take a timeout.
Coach Fazio, the Vikings defensive coordinator, their biggest problem today is finding out and knowing when the Rams are switching personnel. Unlike other teams, the Rams don't signal in their personnel changes. They just do it through the headset. It's hard to pick up.
1st and 10, reverse coming. This is Isaac Bruce, and he's got some room. He's got wide open space. He'll cut it back inside. Bruce to the 10-5. He's down to the 4-yard line before Robert Griffith brings him down. Pick up a 30 on the reverse. This is where the Rams had trouble last week. It didn't look like much trouble on this. Greg Hill up to the 1-yard line, and there is a shoot on the field. It's like Ed McDaniel lost it. No, that's Dwight Alexander without the shoe. There's a couple of shoots out there. And that'll be the end of our first quarter with St. Louis knocking on the door. The score, Minnesota 14, the Rams 0. Second and goal from the 1-yard line for the St. Louis Rams. They'll give it out to Hill. It's a sprint towards the end zone. He'll get it in. Touchdown for St. Louis. Jeff Wilkins on for the try. Wilkins is good. And the Rams get back into this one. Wilkins kicks it deep. David Palmer from his 7. Wins his way up to the 30-yard line. Let's take a look at that touchdown again.
Yeah, the Rams want to do one thing, and that's, number one, find where Randall is and then run away from him. Now, he's right there. So that play is going to the opposite side of the ball. And you saw a nice cutback or a cut block by number 77, Ethan Brooks, the offensive lineman. There he is right there. A guy that's this quick and this fast in your backfield, you got to try to get him on the ground. Now, he gets up fast, but if you can cut him and then run away from him, it makes life easier, and that's what they did.
The Rams had to take a timeout. They had too many men on the field. Lorenzo Styles sprinted to the sideline. It was too late. St. Louis had to use the timeout. As we have a sellout here, the 26th straight in the Transworld Dome. Pressure on Johnson. Looks for Smith on the screen. Has to overthrow him as DeMarco Farr put some big pressure on Brad Johnson. Number 1 draft pick Grant Wistrom checks in for the St. Louis Rams at right end. 2nd down and 10. 3 wide receivers for Johnson. He'll hand it to Smith off to the right side. This is Wistrom backside making the tackle. Wistrom showing speed off the backside, runs it down. 3rd and 8. And St. Louis has to take another timeout.
These are the mental errors that kill you. There's 14 players on the field for the St. Louis Rams. Even when one guy gets off, they still got 13, so they got to call timeout.
3rd and 8 for Minnesota. They're 2 out of 3. 3rd down conversions, but Todd Stussy gets an early jump.
Right of the snap, false start, 73 offense. 5 yards, 3rd down.
Three wide receivers in for Minnesota. David Palmer checks into the backfield. Johnson looking over the middle. This will be intercepted. Mike A. Jones picks off the Brad Johnson pass, and St. Louis is in business. I don't know where he was throwing to. He threw it into the crowd.
I think Johnson was confused there. Looking at Peter Junta, one of the defensive coordinators. But the Rams dropped off in that full zone coverage. They didn't even try to go man. Watch all the blue shirts drop back into this area. That is a full zone. They're only going to bring 3 rushers. They bring 1/4 one late. But they got 2 right here, 2 linebackers sitting inside. That is just great coverage and a good job of recognizing the ball when it comes off Johnson's hand. That's the first real mistake I've seen Johnson make throwing.
1st and 10 for St. Louis from the 46 of the Vikings. Banks throws it underneath. And he's got Eddie Kennison for a pickup of 9 yards on 1st down. 2nd and 1. Hill tries the middle of the line. Doesn't look like he's got a 1st down. 3rd down and 1 for the St. Louis Rams. I.J. Armstrong in motion. Banks on play action. He's got Conwell open. Overthrows Ernie Conwell.
He threw it too late, and he had Conwell the whole time. Now they got to play the field position.
Right, and they didn't have any faith in the running game. They went for the play action. Tootin boots it down towards David Palmer. Palmer with a fair catch at his own 12-yard line. 1st down and 10 for Minnesota. Robert Smith in the backfield. 2 tight ends in the game. Smith will carry off to the left side where he is bottled up by Mike D. Jones. The Joneses taking over for the Rams defense. 2nd and 10. Glover in motion. Working the backside. Randy Moss has got this one in front of McNeil. He'll take it out to the 30, 31-yard line. Randy Moss, when in doubt, go back to him. 1st and 10 from the 30. Johnson to throw again. Dumps it outside to Smith. Hit and knocked out of bounds by Clemens. 2nd down and 5 now. They'll run it off to the right side. This is Robert Smith. He'll pick up 4 yards, bringing up a 3rd and 1.
Talk about that size on the Vikings offensive line. That time they're running over to the right over Big David Dixon, number 71. He's listed on the chart as 360. We asked him last night how much he weighs. He said, I'm about 350. I'd like to see the 330s again, but I don't think I will. David, I don't think you will either.
I don't believe he will. high school rugby player David Dixon grew up in New Zealand. How'd you like to play rugby against that guy?
Stay low.
3rd and short for the Vikings. Moss in motion. He'll dump it out to him. It's tipped a little bit, but Moss will make the reception and get first down yardage. Charlie Clemens looks like he got a hand on that, but Moss still gathered it in. It's 1st down and 10 from the 45. Randy Moss, 4 receptions for 59 yards. Carter in motion. They'll counter fake reverse. They're looking for Moss one-on-one.
They don't have it.
Good coverage out there by Dexter McCleon. You kind of put a little press coverage on Randy Moss. Kenny Green having a word with his prize rookie. 2nd down and 10 now for the Vikings. They'll split Chuck Evans, the fullback, wide to the left. Carter and Reed at the top. Johnson throws this one into a crowd, and this one is knocked away by Todd Light.
Boy, he didn't see Jake Reed on the out pattern. See, when you have so much time, and on that play, Johnson had a lot of time. A lot of times, you outthink yourself. And I think he really tried to force the ball that time. You know, they say the quarterback's got about 3 seconds before he's going to get hit back there. Well, anytime you can set your feet, look back, and then check to the other side, you've got good time.
The Rams check in with that 30 nickel we talked about. 3 defensive linemen.
You see the 3 defensive linemen right there.
And Dr. Jones got an early start.
He hit him in the face.
Huge error. Huge error.
Offside, number 90, defense. 5 yards, 3rd down.
3rd down and 5 for Minnesota. David Palmer checks into the backfield, 3 wide receivers. Johnson with pressure, he'll scramble. He'll fight his way close to 1st down yardage.
I don't think he made it.
Leonard Little with the stop. It's going to be close.
Depends on how they spot it. I don't think they made it.
So with 4th and less than 1, the punt is coming. Mitch Berger will boom it away to Eddie Kennison, standing on his 10. Kennison feels it. He's got some room. He'll come back to the right side. He's up past the 25 to the 28-yard line. 18-yard punt return from Eddie Kennison. The Rams will take over, trailing by 7. First and 10. The Rams will give it to Hill. No room on the right side. Penetration coming from Tony Williams, number 94 for the Vikings.
A lot of talk down there on the Rams side about who's calling the plays. They went back and forth with that. Right now, Dick Vermeil is the guy calling the plays. He sends it in to Mike White, who in turn sends it to Tony Banks' helmet.
And you see Vermeil's holding that sheet now. He says when he's calling the good game, he folds that thing up and sticks it under his arm. He doesn't need it. 2nd and 11. Banks looking for Conwell. Overthrows him. It'll be intercepted by Robert Griffith. Griffith's got some room on the right sideline. Amp Lee will bring him down at the 29-yard line. A 17-yard return on the interception from Robert Griffith.
Uh-oh, there's a helmet off, and that should be a flag.
There's several flags.
Helmet violation, number 57 of the intercepting team. That's a 15-yard penalty. It will be 1st and 10.
And what that does is it really takes the Vikings out of pretty darn good field position after a turnover. So in the big scheme of things, yeah, it hurts a lot. Now Conwell is going to work up the field, up the seam. You're going to see 2 white shirts on him. There's absolutely no throw there for Tony Banks. I mean, that's a hard throw. He overthrows it because he has to overthrow it because a man is underneath trailing. And that was actually Clemens, the defensive lineman.
Fumble or missed exchange in the backfield. Johnson will keep it, and he'll be knocked down by Dr. Jones, Mike D. Jones, at the 40-yard line. A little miscommunication in the backfield. 2 wide receivers in for the Vikings. 2nd and 8. Leroy Horde in the game for the first time. Bounces it outside where Toby Wright takes a shot at him. And there is a penalty marker down on the field.
Yeah, they're probably going to get a holding. And it happens because the penetration was so fast by the Rams.
Second and long for the Vikings from midfield. They'll dump it outside. Leroy Horde with the reception and some room, and he gets a block downfield. And they get close to first down yardage. Jake Reed out there paving the way.
Nice call by Brian Billick, the offensive coordinator. What is he doing? He realizes the Rams are going to drop a lot of people in coverage and rush not so many, but he's going to play with his running backs. Toss the ball out to the perimeters.
Third down and 1 after the pickup of 16 by Horde. He stays in the backfield. Carter in motion. Johnson will sneak it, puts his head down and drives forward for first down yardage. The Vikes from the 33. Johnson, play action. Looking outside. He's got Andrew Glover, the big tight end, for another huge pickup down to the 10-yard line.
What a throw. What a throw.
22 yards on the play. Carter motions to the right. Johnson looks that way, and it's Chris Carter knocked away in the end zone by Todd Light.
What a play. And you know it's a good play because when Chris Carter doesn't get up complaining, and he's talking to Light right there.
That play will bring up second down and goal from just inside the 10. Carter motion to the right again. Smith to the left. And he'll pick up 2 yards. Big play here. Third down and goal to go for the Minnesota Vikings. Johnson will throw. Dumps it underneath to Jake Reed. He is stopped. Keith Lyle comes up from his safety position with the stop along with Billy Jenkins.
Like we said, the Rams with Bud Carson gone, the famous defensive coordinator in the league for a lot of years. He retired last year, but they're still using a lot of his stuff. And a lot of his stuff is not only blitz heavy, but involves aggressive play by the safeties. And that time we saw the safeties coming down and making a good play.
Peter Junta, the co-defensive coordinator, along with John Bunting, has to be happy. Gary Anderson on for the field goal, and he nails it. A 24-yarder for Anderson. St. Louis receiving the kickoff. This one will go out of bounds from Mitch Berger.
Boy, take it at the 30.
You betcha.
I wouldn't even mess with it.
Take the ball, first and 10, 40-yard line.
Take it at the 40.
Excuse me, the 40.
Hill and Harris in the backfield. This will be Greg Hill on the cutback. Picks up 8 quick yards as the running game looks pretty good for these St. Louis Rams. Second and 1. And Banks will throw. He's got Isaac Bruce for a first down. Hit immediately by Corey Fuller. Bruce, 3 receptions and 41 yards here in the first half. This one's down on the ground. Bruce almost had it. Fuller with the coverage.
Randall right there inside again. Now it looks like he's got the one-on-one with Wiegert. That's the one they expect him to win. I tell you what, Zach Wiegert, big old dude from Nebraska, did a pretty good job on that one.
Not bad at all. 4-year man. A number 2 pick for the Rams in '95, Zach Wiegert. It'll be second and 10 now for Tony Banks.
And that's why it's important for someone else on the Vikings defensive line to step up and make plays.
Or blitz, which they bring. This will be Harris with a reception. He'll pick up 3 yards before he's hammered out of bounds by Dwayne Rudd. They're down at 5. Gerald Moore checks in for the first time. He's next to Banks in the shotgun. Moore with 3 fumbles last week. Banks will throw it out to the left side. That's going to be incomplete. Broken up by Dwayne Rudd, intended for Eddie Kennison. Dwayne Rudd all over the field.
Now Randall lined up once again on the outside shoulder of Wiegert. And what do? They bring the back down. That's Gerald Moore, 44. No matter where the guy is, you got to know you got to get extra help.
A 53-yard attempt from Jeff Wilkins is good. It's a career long. The previous 52 yards, Wilkins hits from 53. Jenkins boots it deep. David Palmer from the goal line. Lit up at the 50. Billy Jenkins on special teams. Return of 15.
That'll go down as one of the woo licks that Ronnie Lott talks about. And nobody coaches this better than Frank Gantz, a special teams coach. Each man 100% eye on the prize, and that time David Palmer is the prize. Good job by Jenkins, who really was quite criticized here last week for some mental errors that led to some big plays by the Saints.
Right, only his third start, filled in for Toby Wright and had some problems. And out for the Rams defense. Robert Smith busts off the right side for a pickup of 10 quick yards. He's brought down by Todd Light and Keith Lyle. And that will bring us to our 2-minute warning, with Minnesota ahead of St. Louis 17-10. First and 10 for Brad Johnson. Oh, Randy. Look out, here goes Robert Smith. He might go the distance.
Jenkins got to catch him.
20, 10, 5, touchdown. Robert Smith, 74 yards.
Robert Smith is a world-class sprinter, a track runner at Ohio State. You know, when he gets going, he'll lean those hips back, lean the shoulders back, and get into that 200-meter, 400-meter sprint stride, and it's all over.
Robert Smith took it to the house.
And that play happened because they got outmatched with the number of people inside that tackle box, which we talk about. They're thinking 2-minute, they're thinking pass all the way, and they come out with the run.
Gary Anderson on for the try, and that is good. Mitch Berger set to kick this off. The crowd has gone quiet. Tony Horn and J.T. Thomas deep to receive. This will be Tony Horn at his 4-yard line. Horn stays alive. He'll bring it out to the 23. A return of 19 yards.
That just may be the biggest play of the game. I don't know if the Rams can recover from that. Not from a point standpoint, as we look at Robert Smith's numbers on the day, but just from a morale standpoint. I mean, that's a huge blow going in at half.
Yeah, that's what they call a deflator. Knock the wind right out of you. Smith, his second rushing touchdown. That is a career high for Robert Smith in a football game. He came in the first half against the Rams. Banks with no timeouts will work from the shotgun. Pressure's on. He dumps it to Ernie Conwell, a wide open Conwell.
You can't be any more wide open than Ernie Conwell was. I mean, he could have just underhanded the ball.
Banks again had pressure.
And now, but you know, Banks is in a position where he's got to press. Like we said, he's been good in this position, but he's got to be good against a front four that's going to come back, pull the ears back, and come back and get him.
And he's got to overcome 2 interceptions, and then, of course, the huge Robert Smith run. And the Rams are down right now, emotionally. They'll throw it outside. And got a little room with Ike Bruce. Bruce fumbles out of bounds. They'll say he was down. Robert Griffith on the stop. First and 10 from the 35 for the Rams. Minute 15 left in the first half. Banks throws it outside on timing to Eddie Kennison. Corey Fuller slides a hand in and knocks it away.
We could hear that ball hit his chest all the way up here.
Second down and 10.
Rough part about this whole deal, the Rams don't have any timeouts. They burned them all in substitution problems early.
Banks with time, running out of time, dumps it outside to Amp Lee, and Lee will get out of bounds and stop the clock with 1 minute and 3 seconds left.
Amp Lee has been his guy in a 2-minute situation. Looking at Mike White right there, the quarterback's coach. Kurt Warner, number 10, the backup quarterback, third-string quarterback. He's actually signaling in the play to Tony Banks. Mike White gives it to him, and then Kurt Warner sends it in.
Thomas and Prohl to the right, Kennison to the left. Isaac Bruce checked out of the ball game. Third down. Banks will throw it out of the backfield to Ernie Conwell. Conwell picks up first down yardage to the 47.
They got a flag though, Ray.
There's a flag on the left side of the field.
Illegal formation, number 76, not on the line of scrimmage.
They got
5
Orlando
yards.
Pace
Repeat the down.
lining up in the backfield. So it'll nullify the first down, and Tony Banks will go 3rd and 12 from his 33. And he overshoots Eddie Kennison. He had Hitchcock falling down. Had that been in there, it could have been something.
You see all the bodies there. That's another good reason for Orlando Pace lining up in the backfield. He's trying to get a jump on that heat that's coming up the field.
Rick Booten-Tootin will let this one go. David Palmer at his own 24.
Booten-Tootin.
That's what we used to call it in the Buffalo days. Booten-Tootin. Palmer from the 20. Changes his mind, and he's got room on the sidelines. And he'll get knocked out of bounds by Booten-Tootin at the 41. Brad Johnson with Leroy Horde in the backfield. 3 wide receivers. Johnson looks to his right. He's got Randy Moss. Moss, he's trying to get out of bounds. This guy's
How smart. How smart. You know, the presence of mind and know exactly what the situation is, even though they have 2 timeouts, and know that he's got to get himself out of bounds, though, to preserve those timeouts.
1st and 10. 5th catch on the day for Moss. Johnson dumps it out to Leroy.
Now they got to burn
the backfield, and now they will burn that timeout just inside the 40-yard line of the Saints, where Mike Anthony Jones makes the tackle. 295 total yards of offense for the Vikings in the first half alone. Johnson rolls outside. He'll be picked by Todd Light.
He got it. He got it. That's an interception. What a play.
Looking for Chris Carter. Todd Light steps in front and steals it away.
I tell you, Todd Light is going to school today. Now, that ball was thrown a little late, and Light just got a great break. Look at, he's looking all the way, but it's the closing distance that's the key. And then he catches it with his hands, Ray.
And got his feet down.
He got his feet down. You know, he's able to close up the distance between the ball and the time the ball gets to the receiver and make the catch. And I don't know, Ray, that ball was awful wobbly.
Yeah,
I know that Brad said he feels good and his throwing motion has looked good, but and he's always throwing a little wobble ball, but boy, that one was wobbly and had some steam off it.
Yeah, didn't have a lot of zip on it. Johnson was rolling while he threw. Didn't get to really get set. Banks will throw it outside to Isaac Bruce. Bruce across midfield to the 48-yard line.
Now this is a great opportunity for the Rams to get points going into half.
14 seconds left, no timeouts. Banks will have to throw it along the sideline from his 48. He throws it high. This is a gift interception for Robert Griffith. And we're just going back and forth. It's a ping pong match.
That one was real late. I mean, that one was so late.
And you got to know Griffith was overplaying that out.
Yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, it was so late that the Griffith just, he had to almost stop and wait on the ball.
Tony Banks, his 3rd interception in the first half.
You saw Foge Fazio, the defensive coordinator over there, talking to Griffith, making sure that he wasn't getting any bad habits, but just made a good play on it.
2nd interception of the day for Robert Griffith. A seesaw battle with interceptions closing out our first half of play. And that's the end of the first half with the score. Minnesota 24, St. Louis 10. Mitch Berger bangs it away to start our second half. Tony Horn from the end zone. Lit up at the 12-yard line. My goodness, what a pop coming in there. So the St. Louis offense will get started again with poor field position from their own 14-yard line.
Yeah, going back to that thing about Randall, like you said, he hadn't lined up outside, and that's what the Rams thought they would see. They had done their protection schemes all week.
Right,
Randall outside. So what do? They move him back inside to try to throw off the tendencies.
Randall spent a lot of time outside in the opener against Tampa Bay last week. Banks doubles out of the blocks, and he'll fall back at the 10-yard line. Turf monster. Got to tackle.
That's the kind of thing that poor football teams do. And the Rams don't want to head down the same deep, dark tunnel they went down last year. But those are the kind of things that started off. It's hard enough to play this game just being on your feet. You see right there?
The center got
The center stepped on his foot. That happens a lot. But unfortunately, it happens. And when it does happen, you know you're snake bit.
Right, that's when them size 14s meet up with them size 13s. Banks will throw on second down, drills it into Conwell, his tight end. Ernie Conwell's first reception. Ed McDaniel with the coverage and the tackle. Banks out of the shotgun. Tries for the sideline, and he does pick up Isaac Bruce with the reception, and they'll mark it good enough for first down yardage. Pickup of 10 yards.
I think Tony Banks works best when you put him on the half roll, or the dash play as they call it. Why? Because it gets him out of the pocket, and he's such an athlete that he's better doing things while he's on the move. And his vision increases. He can see more back there. He's a tall kid now. You're talking a guy 6'4½", pushing 6'5". He can see well anyway, but I just think he's used to that basketball type play and style. And when you get him on the perimeters, he feels more comfortable.
He was an outfielder in the Twins organization. Used to throwing out there on the run. Conwell with another reception to the 30-yard line before Dwayne Rudd brings him down. Vikings to blitz. Greg Hill with the save. He's wide open at the 40. Cuts back to the 45, 46-yard line before he is corralled. They call him in a blitz for a 16-yard pickup. Ed McDaniel and Orlando Thomas on the stop of Greg Hill. Banks will hand it to Hill again. He'll work outside to his right. He's tracked down by Dwayne Rudd again. Dwayne Rudd, I'm telling you, this guy is one of the best young linebackers in all of football. Second and 9, let's call it, for Tony Banks. He'll dump it underneath. He's got Greg Hill, his first reception of the day, and Hill takes a shot from Dwayne Rudd.
Now, we talked about the matchup with John Randall on Zach Wiegert, and Wiegert being a strong physical guy. But now, let's see what happens when he goes on the other side against Fred Miller, who had some problems last week. Miller goes to his face right away, gets pushed back late, but that's why you have to have the timing, and that's why they've been coaching so much for Tony this week. Tempo is important. We don't have all day with that guy on the other side of the field.
Big play, third down for the Rams. Greg Hill powers his way to a first down up the middle. The drive stays alive. We're seeing a lot of Greg Hill on this drive. We're also seeing a lot of Dwayne Rudd, who led the Vikings with 12 tackles in the opener. He has 7 already this afternoon. Gerald Moore checks in, gives Greg Hill a breather on 1st and 10. Play action. Banks throws a dangerous ball, looking for Eddie Kennison. Griffith almost over there for the trifecta, along with Orlando Thomas.
And you see Banks pointing to himself there. He's letting a couple fly high.
His timing's up, it seems.
Yeah, his timing's up, but that ball's sailing on him, which usually means you're not setting completely and letting it throw. He looked like he set pretty well there.
He overthrew it. Actually, that could have been caught easily by Eddie Kennison.
That ball should have been caught. He pointed to himself, but that ball's got to be caught. No, but that's a stat that doesn't show up.
Drop ball.
Yeah, when Carter or Reed make those great catches.
Banks will throw it in. Lee, Rudd on the coverage. Lee almost made the great catch, and then he looked for the flag right away. Brings up a third down and 10 now. And Banks will go to the shotgun. And he'll take a timeout. Running out of time on the play clock. 3rd and 10 for the St. Louis Rams. 11th play of this drive. They've had to burn 3 timeouts because they didn't have the right people on the field.
Right, that's just poor management of knowing what your substitutions need to be.
Banks from the shotgun. Good time. He'll scramble out of there.
Look who's chasing him.
Wayne running, and Robert lights Tony Banks up over on the sideline. Now he's going to tell him about it.
As if he wasn't there to see it himself.
John Randall had the chase on this one.
Okay, now that's the first time Randall's been on the in position. So what do? They bootleg it out to the other side. And they try to get 2 on him. Wow, that's a hit. That's a hit.
Yeah, safety assassin. Rick Tootin will have to boot this one away. David Palmer at his 10. Tootin with a sky ball.
That's a high kick.
Palmer will field it at the 22-yard line. And that's where the Vikings will be in business. They have a 24-10 lead, 9:32 left in the third quarter. The Minnesota Vikings will take over on their 23-yard line. Their initial possession of the first half.
Hey, was Griffith fired up after that hit or what?
He had me going up here.
Man. No, we don't want to get you going.
No,
you might have an inside linebacker flashback.
You might have something for me, though. I remember those days. It'll be Smith on first down. He'll pick up 3 yards. Wow. Before he is brought down by Joe Phillips and DeMarco Farr.
Randall McDaniel just buried somebody.
Randall McDaniel made his 140th consecutive start. He's been to 9 consecutive Pro Bowls. And he ate up Warren Sapp of Tampa Bay last week. Johnson on 2nd and 7 will roll it outside as a flag is on the field. He was brought down by Kevin Carter.
You're going to get Mike A. Jones. He just, for some reason, got in a grabbing match with the tight end and had enough of it.
Personal foul, 15-yard face mask, 52 defense. Enforcing the end of the play, first down.
That's a huge penalty.
First down and 10 for the Minnesota Vikings at the 41, just shy of their own 41-yard line. Evans and Smith in the backfield.
See Brad checking off. 8 men in the box.
Blitz is coming. And he throws it outside to Jake Reed. Reed works on Todd Light for a first down.
That was a good picture. You could see why he checked off there. He saw the safety come down, making an 8-man front, which means they want to try to slam your run game. But if 8 men are down inside, that means you got 3 outside. It's probably man-to-man coverage outside, and that's why he threw the quick hitch or the quick out.
And Brian Billick, the offensive coordinator, told us they don't really check off that many times, 4 or 5 times a game, but when they do, they expect success. Smith with success over the right side again. Picks up first down yardage, forced out of bounds by Todd Light. 3 wide receiver package. Moss down on the left, and Johnson's looking for him in the end zone. Randy Moss will not catch this one. Dexter McCleon with good position, good inside coverage. Second down and 10. Leroy Hoard in the backfield for the Vikings. Johnson will go for the screen to Hoard, but it's covered up. And now the ball comes out, and it's picked up. This is Mike D. Williams, and he'll be run down by Leroy Hoard. No, the big guy rolls over Hoard down to the 13-yard line. DeMarco Farr made the hit. Mike D. Jones picks it up in a 38-yard return.
The discussion will be whether or not his hand was coming forward. Brad Johnson, if his hand was coming forward, then that is an incomplete pass. First of all, I think it's questionable whether or not it's in the grasp. And that ball just slipped a lot like it slipped last year. You saw in the pregame show when he had trouble with the muscles in his forearm. Like I say, it's questionable in the grasp, but that's just a fumble if they're not going to call that because it clearly came out before his arm was coming forward.
The fumble and then the rumble from Mike D. Jones. With the Rams first and 10. Greg Hill will fight his way for a couple of tough yards in the middle. Jerry Ball makes the tackle. Isaac Bruce in motion on 2nd and 7. Banks looks to throw. He's got Conwell, the tight end. Conwell doesn't want to go down. He'll pick up close to first down yardage as Dwayne Rudd and Ed McDaniel hang on to Ernie Conwell. 3rd down and 1. And they'll pitch it outside. This is Hill with a cutback inside. It's going to be close. I don't know if he got it. That's Ed McDaniel coming up with the tackle.
Well, and if And if I'm Vermeil, I'm going for this one.
You got to.
I'm going for this one. 24-10. I'm going.
Hill and Harris in the backfield. They'll run the same play, pitching it out to Hill. He'll have room outside. Touchdown, St. Louis.
There was a lot of controversy last week on that man's shoulders right there, Dick Vermeil, for not starting Greg Hill in place of Gerald Moore. The team paid the price for it. The pressure was on, and so he went back to the guy who he felt could make plays and put the ball in the end zone and not fumble it in the end zone like they had last week.
Jeff Wilkins adds the extra point, and the Rams close the gap to 7. They trail now 24-17. 4 plays, 14 yards, ate up a minute 54 off the clock. St. Louis closes to within 7 on Greg Hill's second rushing touchdown of the day, all set up by DeMarco Farrar, forcing the fumble, and Mike D. Jones rumbling 38 yards with it. Wilkins kicks this deep. It'll be David Palmer in his end zone, and he'll down it. The Vikings will take it 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for Minnesota. Johnson will dump it outside to Robert Smith. Mike Jones forces him out of bounds. Mike A. Jones, pickup of 1 on the play. 2nd and 9. Smith, no room up the middle. That Rams defense is fired up. It's Ray Agnew with the tackle. 3rd and 6. Johnson with play action. Kevin Carter's got him around the 10. He'll get it away. Almost picked off by Charlie Clemens, and the Rams defense rises up.
We talked about the one force on the outside for the Rams, the ability to get Kevin Carter in the backfield. And you can just see the way the defensive front and the whole defense plays different after a score from your offense. I mean, this is a team sport, and what goes on the offensive side, regardless of what people say, does affect your mentality, how you play on the defensive side.
Mitch Berger, a beauty. It'll be Eddie Kennison from the 30-yard line. Kennison restarts. He's got room up the field. He's wide open, crossing midfield. He's got the punter to beat, and he'll beat him. He's on the distance. Eddie Kennison, a 70-yard punt return for a touchdown. Officially a 71-yarder. Wilkins tacks on the extra point, and we are all tied up in St. Louis. Eddie Kennison has taken the roof off the Transworld Dome. 3rd career punt return for a touchdown. Wilkins will kick this one out of bounds, and the Vikings will get good field position.
That, to me, makes no sense whatsoever. That is a huge, huge error.
14 points in the last 1 minute and 38 seconds. The Rams have tied this one up. Minnesota takes over on their 40. They'll give it to Smith. Smith with a crack in the middle. He'll pick up 8 yards on 1st down. 2nd and 2. Nowhere to go for Smith.
You know what
Mike D. Jones with the stop.
You know what I thought, Ray, is that the Vikings last series got a little conservative. They came out and they're still in regular people. 1 tight end, 2 wide receivers. And I think they thought with a 24-10 lead that they could just kind of run this thing out. Yeah. But now they're going to have to rethink this and get back into their 3 wide out mode when possible. And like right now.
Right now, Jake Reed and Chris Carter to the left. Randy Moss up top. Leroy Horde in the backfield. Moss in motion.
Rams don't have the right personnel in the field.
It's a 2-man route. Chris Carter with the reception down to the 34-yard line. Keith Lyle on the coverage.
The Rams got caught, I believe, with the wrong personnel on the field.
With that reception, Chris Carter ties James Lawson as his 6th all-time reception leader as Robert Smith takes it for 10 on the outside. That's 764 receptions in the career of Cris Carter.
That's a lot of catches. And that's a great story. He got together with Randy Moss. Right after Moss was drafted, Moss moved from Virginia down to Florida, Boca Raton. And Cris Carter has a very famous workout program that he goes through. Jake Reed's involved in it. And just being in that whole mix, he got on the right track then, and you can see it.
Certainly helped out Randy Moss. Helped himself as well. Johnson will give it to Horde on 1st and 10. Horde picks up 3. Charlie Clemens with the stop on the right side along with Mike Jones. 2nd and 7 for the Vikings. Johnson looks too deep. Carter overthrows.
Wow, what a
with a
catch.
one-hand grab.
What a catch.
But he's out of bounds with it. Good coverage from the safety Keith Lyle in the corner Dexter McLeon. But how about that grab? 3rd down, 7 yards. Pressure on Johnson. He finds Carter over the middle. And there are flags on the field.
Grant Wiestrom was awful fast.
False start. 73.
Left tackle Todd Stussy, the guilty party. And there was rookie Grant Wiestrom applying the pressure on that one.
Full blitz.
Johnson lets it go. He's looking for Carter.
Yeah, they got to call that.
Todd Light.
They got to call that.
They do not. Oh, no, they do. There is a flag down, and it looked like Light never looked back for the ball.
But they're talking about it. Now, he can face guard, but he can't make the contact. He made the contact. And Johnson got rocked.
Offensive pass interference. Number 47. Automatic first down.
A little bit underthrown from Brad Johnson. The Vikings go 1st and goal from the 1. Leroy Horde squirms his way to the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Leroy Horde. First touchdown of the year. And Minnesota answers the challenge.
That's the mark of a good team. A key break there on the pass interference, but they come down and answer. Watch the line surge. Watch the white shirts. Big Randall McDaniel coming by, getting a kick out, and a nice lead by Evans up there. And that's just a good effort, too, by Horde. He spins and was able to get that touchdown on the 2nd effort.
Gary Anderson boots the extra point, and the Vikings go out 7 points on the Rams. Mitch Berger will kick this one deep. It'll be Tony Horn from 1 yard deep. Horn with room on the left side. There's the penalty. It looks like a clip against the Rams again. Horn brings it out to the 23-yard line. 3 times last week the Rams had a penalty on kickoff
Illegal
return.
block in the back. Number 37 during the return. Half the distance. First down.
And that'll put the Rams back at their 8-yard line where they'll start this drive. Hill and Harris in the backfield. This will be Hill. He's got it up the middle. Dwayne Rudd corrals him, but not until Hill picks up 11 yards. 17th carry on the day for Greg Hill. They want to get him 29 or 30. See if Tony Banks wants to snap this thing. And he will not get it off. And that is the end of our 3rd quarter with the score. Minnesota 31, St. Louis 24. Fox NFL Sunday will continue. St. Louis with a slow start has turned it back on in the 2nd and 3rd. Minnesota answers with that touchdown. The Rams will take the ball at the start of the 4th quarter from their own 20-yard line.
And we talked about how they've been able to, in a way, neutralize that man for today. He's got some great pressures, but I think keeping him inside has helped the Rams because now they can get more help inside on him.
And they've done well with the cutback running game. They're pursuing Vikings defense. Tony Banks launches a missile for Isaac Bruce. Bruce down to the 20, down to the 10, 5.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Isaac Bruce, an 80-yard pass. reception of Isaac Bruce's career, his first touchdown of the season.
And he just beats him, and that one's going to cost him some money, like 500 big ones, but you think he cares? Corey Fuller's playing off, and he's just going to blow him away. Fuller doesn't believe he's going deep, but he never recovers.
Well, what hands?
Tony Banks said they didn't believe in the Viking corners. They didn't feel they were great cover people. And it's coming to fruition.
Wilkins makes the extra point. We're all knotted up. It's a seesaw battle in St. Louis. 2 plays, 92 yards. The Rams answer. We're knotted at 31 as Wilkins hits it deep to Palmer. Palmer with an answer of his own. He'll get it up to the 29-yard line.
Got a flag.
More flags on the field. 24-yard return. We'll see what the call will be. Bring me through that touchdown.
Got the one-on-one matchup over here, and Bruce just blows by Corey Fuller. I mean, it's not like there was an 8-man front where they thought they'd have man-to-man and no help and blitz. He just rolled by him. John Randle right there. We showed in the pregame show about you have to have help chip on it. That's 1, 2 blocks, and now watch the back, Derek Harris. John Randle had to try to fight through 3 people to make that play. That is how you block John Randle. And that man right there, Jim Hannafin, the offensive line coach, he had the Hogs back in Washington, D.C. back in the day when they were doing everything. He's the man responsible for the good play they had back there.
1st and 10. The Vikes will try Chuck Evans up the middle. Nowhere to go. It's Carter and Agnew on the stop.
Jim Hannafin, like we talked before, he said, I really don't mind seeing Randle inside. At least we got a chance to double him. Outside worried me.
Vikings go to 3 wides. Pressure is on, and the flags are down. Ray Agnew with the hit on Brad Johnson. Peter Junta pointing out to the guilty party. That would be Corey Stringer, guilty of the hold. The Rams will decline the penalty, bringing up a 3rd down and let's call it 7 yards for this Viking offense. And the Rams defense has been all that here in the second half. They played great last week in the second half against the Saints. They're doing it again this week.
And this is as good as football gets here. 3rd down, big play, and they got to get heat on the quarterback, and offense got to make a play.
Flag is down again as Johnson gets sacked. The ball is loose.
Stringer moved early, the right tackle.
See if the whistle was blown before the start of the play.
Prior to the snap, ball starts, 77-0.
Corey Stringer's shaken up. 2 penalties in a row. The Stringer belts cost Minnesota 5 yards. They'll go on 3rd and 13. Johnson will throw again. Looking outside for Moss. He's got Moss for a 1st down. Working on Ryan McNeil. Randy Moss. Brad Johnson's down, holding to his left leg or right leg.
Brad Johnson took some shots. He took a shot on that play before. Watch him here, see if we can pick up where he... You know what? I think he did it right before, that 2nd step before the setup.
That'll put Randall Cunningham into the lineup for the Minnesota Vikings.
Now, Randall is more of an athletic quarterback. He likes to run more and throw on the run. I can't call the same things with Brad that I can call with this guy.
1st and 10 for Randall Cunningham. Coming off the bench. And he'll throw it on 1st down to Robert Smith out of the backfield. Smith will pick up 1 before Eric Hill forces him out of bounds along with Lorenzo Styles. 3 wides in on 2nd and 10. It'll be Smith and Smith. He gets rocked. Randall Cunningham completed 50% of his passes last year. 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. 3rd and 7. Leroy Horde in the backfield. 3 wides on the field for Minnesota. And the blitz is coming in. There's Clemens. And he got Cunningham down. Clemens on the blitz. And then Mike Jones finishes him off.
This is the mixed front look. Vikings knew the Rams would give him some of this. Now there's Clemens right there. The fact that he's there throws off the blocking scheme because these guys think they're going to block 3. Now all of a sudden it turns into 4. And there's confusion on who to block. The back comes up, but he comes up too late to try to block it. That's a page, Ray. out of Fritz Shurmur's book on how to play the Minnesota Vikings on defense.
Pittsburgh bangs it out of bounds. No, it'll hit inbounds, and they'll get a bounce. Will the Vikings, as Eddie Kennison, they tried to kick it out of bounds. They didn't want to see him go another 80 for a touchdown. So we're all tied up, 31-31, 11:53 left in the fourth quarter. The St. Louis Rams will take over on their own 24-yard line after a 57-yard punt from Mitch Berger. Excellent special teams from Berger to get him back out of that hole. The hole could be bigger if Brad Johnson doesn't get back into this game.
Yeah, you're right about that. They retaped that right ankle. And now how that affects his setup, we'll see. But I'm not so sure he didn't hurt that ankle on the play before the play that we saw him go down on.
First and 10. This will be Greg Hill. Hill bounces it outside. The pursuit is too strong from that Viking defense. Man, they can run. It's Clemens and Alexander.
Boy, Hill stopped awful quick on his ankle that time.
Greg Hill, 19 carries, 82 yards thus far. This will be Amp Lee. Amp Lee forced out of bounds by Jimmy Hitchcock and Dwayne Rudd. So it'll be 3rd down and 9 now for Tony Banks back in the shotgun. Banks will dump it to Amp Lee over the middle. Lee with a move in open field, brought down by Dwayne Rudd, but not until he gets another Rams first down. Amp Lee, unbelievable, coming out of the backfield, called 8 balls last week.
You know, the Rams right now, it's their game, and they have the game where they want it. And they didn't expect to be this close. But now it's their game to basically lose it if they're going to do it. They have to be on their cues. They can't make mistakes here. They got to have a ball control set up and make the first downs like that and move this ball down the field.
First and 10 from the 35. Hill into the middle of the field, and he's not going anywhere. Big Jerry Ball shoots the gap and knocks him down. 2nd down and 11. Gerald Moore and Amp Lee in the backfield. Banks will look outside to Kennison. He'll hit him at the 40-yard line. Kennison stopped immediately by Jimmy Hitchcock. And there is a flag on the play. St. Louis penalties. Look at Dick Vermeil's face.
Formation, number 70, offense. Not up on the line of scrimmage. 5 yards, 2nd down.
Banks with the shuffle pass to Amp Lee. Lee will pick up 4 yards. Banks on 3rd and 11. Overshoots Ricky Prohl in the middle of the field. Torian Gray with the coverage and pressure coming from Tony Williams.
Tony Williams will come in and basically spell for Jerry Ball. And he's right down here. He comes in late. He's able to get a hat on the quarterback.
2. It's a line drive to David Palmer. And Palmer stumbles around. He looked like he had some room. And then he's brought down by London Fletcher, making the special teams play for the Rams. 1st and 10. Randall Cunningham will hand up the middle to Robert Smith for a pickup of 4 on 1st down. Robert Smith looking for room on the cutback. Thrown to the ground by Jay Williams. 3rd down and 4. Moss at the bottom. Carter and Reed at the top. Leroy Horde in the backfield. Cunningham to throw. He'll look for Carter over the middle. Todd Light there with the coverage. And it's incomplete. And that's 4th down now for the Vikings. And we'll get to see Eddie Kennison return another punt from Mitch Berger. Kennison set at his 10-yard line.
Now I might think of kicking away.
And Berger does. Kicks this one deep. Kennison will take it at his 16. And he's hit immediately by Kylie Wong. 36-yard punt, 1-yard return. We're all tied up, 31-31. First and 10. Banks will give it off to Hill. Hill dodges one man in the backfield, fights his way up to the line of scrimmage. Ernie Conwell catches it at the 20, works his way up to the 25-yard line before Dixon Edwards and Corey Fuller corralling. Banks will throw it outside. He's got Isaac Bruce. First down yardage. Forced out of bounds by Jimmy Hitchcock. Banks will throw on 1st and 10.
Oh,
You get Conwell over the middle.
Randall finally got there.
And John Randall put the big pressure on Tony Banks.
The sack is nice, but hits pay dividends later on in your quarterback. There's Randall. He's inside. And Wiegert worked on him about as long as he could. The ball came out, but you still, that ball should have been caught.
Yeah, Ernie Conwell's got to have that.
You still don't want to see your quarterback picking himself up that much. How about his commercial, chasing that little chicken?
That's a classic. And then the barbecue at the end, the payoff. 2nd and 10. Banks will hand it off up the middle on a draw play. Hill will pick up 2. 3rd down and 8. Banks from the shotgun. Looking for Ampli. He throws it outside. It's picked off, and then they're going to say it is an interception by Jimmy Hitchcock.
And there's the big play that the Vikings needed.
4th interception on the day for Tony Banks. Pressure from John Randall.
One-on-one. You see him slap the hands down. He got in there and he forces Tony Banks to pull the trigger a little bit outside. Maybe he's late on the ball anyway. And then Hitchcock just jumps all over it. They said Hitchcock likes to jump the route. He likes to squat on things, and that time he squatted and it paid off.
Glover in motion. Flag flies. Cunningham throws it out to Glover. Glover hit and knocked out of bounds by Todd Light. Illegal motion on the Vikings.
That's a big penalty there for Minnesota. That puts him about midfield, exactly midfield. But the bottom line is the Vikings got the play that they needed. And now it's up to Randall Cunningham to get the points that they need.
Moss and Carter up to the top. Jake Reed down below. They'll give it off to Robert Smith. The left side. He's got a seam. He'll pick up 6, call it 7 yards before Toby Wright comes up from the strong safety spot for the tackle. Minnesota coming in had to run the football out of 3 wide receivers. They've done a pretty decent job of it.
Oh, they've done a great job of it. There it is right there. 3 wide receivers in the game. 12 carries, 125 yards, and you had a couple big runs by Robert Smith.
Both touchdowns came out of that. 177 total rushing yards for the Vikings on 2nd and 8. Cunningham looks over to the middle of the field, throws this one up for grabs. Good coverage from Todd Light and Toby Wright. 3rd down and 8.
Huge, huge play in this game.
Moss to the bottom. Chris Wallace in motion. The pressure's on. Cunningham will run it and now throw it. He's got Chris Wallace. Wallace will go out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Randall Cunningham is most dangerous when he's on the run, the leading all-time NFL rusher from the quarterback position.
That's what we talked about, and what they're complaining about is, did he cross the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball? Was he over the line?
Line of scrimmage was the 43-yard line.
Ball in about the 43-yard line.
I think he got it away before he crossed that line.
Looks from there like he got it away.
And the Rams are going to take a timeout to regather themselves on defense. 2:55 left on the clock. The Vikings driving down 1st and 10 on the 23. They'll go in a 3-wide package and give it to Robert Smith off the left side down to the 18. Smith, a career high 22 carries, 178 yards on the day and a couple of touchdowns. 2nd down, 7 to go. Cunningham gets stepped on. He'll get back up. And they'll throw it almost caught out there by Jake Reed.
The fact that he could even get up, and that's nothing but pure athletic ability.
Big third down, 3rd and 7 for the Vikings. Leroy Horde in the backfield. Randy Moss motions. And he looks for Carter in the end zone. Touchdown, Chris Carter. 19 yards, and the Vikings go back on top with 2:09 left. Gary Anderson on to kick the extra point, and it is good. Minnesota goes up 38-37 with 2:09 left in the ball game.
If you're going to bring blitzes and try to get pressure, then you're going to pay a price in the secondary by bad matchups sometimes, and that's what happens.
They even left Randy Moss in to protect.
They bring the corner light. Instead of covering, they say you blitz, and then the safety has to cover. Right here. I mean, poor Keith Lyle, he's off 7 yards in a part of the field where he needs to choke it down, and he can't make the play. He did. That was a great effort. He came and closed on it. But when I need the money, I'm going to the money man, and that's Chris Carter, and he makes it happen.
Showed it on that 6-play, 45-yard drive, putting the Vikings up 38-31. Mitch Berger set to hammer this one deep. Horn and Thomas back to receive. This will be Tony Horn from the 2. Horn with a seam. Almost broke it outside. And we have reached our 2-minute warning. The Vikings up 38-31. Don't go away. There's more football to play. Randall Cunningham to Chris Carter. The Vikings back on top 38-31. Cunningham 3 of 6 for 41 yards and a 19-yard TD to Chris Carter, the money man for the Vikings. Tony Banks will take it out of the shotgun. 1st and 10. He'll be forced out of the pocket, and now he's on the run. And Banks will take it up and out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Amp Lee on the receiving end of a Tony Banks pass. Lee with no gain on the play.
That mad scramble there, excuse me, that mad scramble there looked like the mad scramble for Sosa's ball out the parking lot.
I bet there was a mad one. Would you give it back?
Don't ask me that.
Yeah, no, I know you
I definitely would give it back.
Tony Banks on 2nd and 11. And outside for Isaac Bruce. Bruce stumbled, still regained his footing and makes the reception, a 16-yarder out of bounds at the 41. JT Thomas checks in. Banks. Over the middle for Caldwell. This one's knocked away. Almost picked up Eddie McDaniel.
Eddie Mack. Eddie Mack could have ended this real quick.
What a day for Isaac Bruce. Last year he had the best day in NFL receiving, 234 yards. He's got 19 catches in 2 weeks, and we've got Derek Alexander getting an early start. Now he's going to start the pointing.
Quarterback, 90 defense, 5 yards, 2nd down.
Check that. Bruce checked back into the ball game and receives the catch, his 10th catch of the ball game. 3rd down and 1. Banks will throw quick to the outside. That's Bruce again for number 11 and a 1st down for the Rams. This one ain't over. 1:05 and counting. They're down by a touchdown. They have 1 timeout left. Do the Rams. Banks throws it away, looking for Amp Lee.
If I'm the Rams, I got to take a shot in the end zone with Isaac Bruce one more time. And Isaac is getting tired. He's been running around out there, and I know he's in great shape. But the Vikings don't even look to be trying to double team on him.
Bruce at the bottom of your screen. Banks will go the other way for Amp Lee. Lee catches it. Ed McDaniel brings him down. They'll move the chains. They're inside the 20-yard line. 3rd and 3 for Banks. And he'll go to the end zone for Ed Bruce, and he overthrows him. Jimmy Hitchcock with good coverage. 1 timeout left.
Now you got 1 timeout left. The clock is stopped, but you got a big, you got a big pickup here.
And they'll put Bruce in the slot. Cole down low. And Banks goes for Cole, and it's knocked away by Jimmy Hitchcock. The flag comes out.
Wow, that was a late flag. Everybody in this stadium is holding their breath, hoping that there's a flag. That's how late it was.
Defensive pass interference, number 47.
Wow.
The Rams stay alive. 20 seconds left. Pro in motion. Banks from the shotgun. Throws almost the third interception for Robert Griffith. Should have had it.
He had Conwell. It looked like he was open right down the middle of the seam for a split second or two. But that was the worst throw he could have tried to make.
Tried to force it in. 2nd and 10 from the 13. 16 seconds left. Banks into the end zone looking for Isaac Bruce. It's knocked away by Corey Fuller.
Nice play by Corey Fuller.
It's nail-biting time. 3rd and 10 from the 13. The Rams, their last gasp, trailing by 7. Banks throws it out to Conwell. Conwell will get out of bounds inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. 6 seconds left. Got time for one, maybe two more plays.
Maybe two. I would still have to take my other shot in the end zone at Isaac Bruce. He's just been too successful today.
Bruce at the bottom. Banks is scrambled. He's got plenty of room. He'll take it. He's short.
Did he get it?
Goal line.
No, he's short. You're going to call a timeout.
The time is off the clock. Time has expired. That's the end of the ballgame. They come up 1 yard short. So close for the Rams and Tony Banks.
And you know, the thing is, it's when the official recognizes the timeout has been called.
Watch your clock in the lower right hand of your screen.
Now, at this point, he doesn't attempt to say anything.
No, he didn't get
now,
the timeout.
maybe the offensive linemen are calling it back there, and I know Ricky Prohl on the side called it.
Banks has got to jump up with the timeout.
He's got to try to get the ball across the plane, number one, all those bodies there.
So for Ron Pitts, this is Ray Bentley saying so long from the Trans World Dome, where the final score, Minnesota 38, St. Louis 31.